Hey everyone, happy marvelous Monday. It's Mrs. Onion, obviously. As promised for Miss Rose Brock's class, I am also giving you guys the video for today in case you did not get our notes. So we are diving into theme, and in order to do that, we are stepping up our game and going into Shakespeare's Sonnet 130. So today we read it, went over some quick vocab, and decided to remix our first 6 lines, is as far as we got in all of our classes. So, whether you're in my class or Ms. Rose Brock's class, if you click on the classwork tab here, I have created a section for week 4, which is where we are, and your work is here. It's going to be your Sonnet 130 remix. If you would like to hear Alan Rickman with his British accent to go over the sonnet, you can, but I'm going to read it for you. So when you go to it, our directions are here, and it says that we're going to read it on the next page. He's talking about his girlfriend, not his wife, scandalous. And then we are going to translate the poem into our current vocabulary so that we can determine the theme. So we are just going to do the first 6 lines. That's all we accomplished today, which is more than fine. Don't forget that our footnote vocab here, footnotes on a sheet of paper would normally have a little number at the top, go in order 1 through 9, and look like exponents in math, but since it's English, we call them footnotes. So our first one is done, and Ms. Rose Brock noted that it's a color, D-U-N, not slang done. A grayish brown, a dirty color. We have damask, which is decorating with irregular patterns or streaks, and I describe that as the veining in marble tile, that it's not a typical pattern as we know it, but it's still very pleasing and pretty to look at. And our last one is a very fancy word, belied, which means when someone is described with lies, and those lies are not the truth about the person. So that gets really confusing, and we're not there yet, but we promise we'll explain it. It makes sense. So I'm going to read this straight through, and then we are going to decipher the first 6 lines, and then this will be posted as well for you guys to see it. So, Sonnet 130 by William Shakespeare is as follows. My mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes there is more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love is rare, as any she belied with false compare. So that seems like a lot, I know. But the first 6 lines. So our first one, my mistress's eyes are nothing like the sun. Mistress, we would use the word girlfriend today, so switch of vocab. So it would be my girlfriends, if I can continue to spell correctly. Eyes, we know that's what we're talking about, and he says they are nothing like the sun. So if they are opposite from the sun, then that means that they are dull and dark, and not just a pretty dark, like brown eyes, but that there is no shine, that they are very glazed over. Not so fancy. Our next line says coral is far more red than her lips red. So those of us that have had Ms. Ventura in her art class, we know coral is a red orangey with a little bit of pink in it, a very pretty, bold color. Coral lipstick looks great on most people besides me. But coral is far more red than her lips red. So then he says that her lips are not as red as coral, meaning that they're not a pretty color, and implying that they're a little crusty. She needs some Carmex. So most of our classes today went with crusty. Such a great way. Normally sonnets declare your undying love for somebody. So William Shakespeare is off to a fine start here with her dull, glassy, dark eyes and her crusty lips. Line 3 states, if snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. So we have some vocab here, so hold on to your seats. Breasts, they are talking about the collarbone and neck. 1600s, not a whole lot was showing, no crazy MTV music videos. So he's talking about her skin, and this part that he sees from her face to her neck to about right here where her dress would end. and we discussed that dun was a grayish brown color. So he has a great metaphor. If snow be white, meaning should her skin be white and clear, then her collarbone, her skin is done. And he has just compared her skin to a grayish brown color. So he is telling us that her skin is dirty. She needs a bath, a shower, wash rags, some soap. So again, we're off to a solid start. If we go down to line 4, he tells us if hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. They didn't have wires where like we plug in a lamp or your refrigerator, but they did have the fabrication of metals for wires for like necklaces, hanging things designed. So they would have looked like thin copper wires, metal wires that we see today, just not for electricity. So if black wires then grow on her head, we know that her hair is black, so her black hair, we know is dirty, maybe like a fried, like it's been flat ironed every day without being washed kind of thing. So it's dry, it's fried, split ends really bad. Dirty is what all words that we came up with during my 4 classes today. Line 5 is really simple, and I think it's so simple that you guys are overthinking it, which is funny that you get so focused on it and you don't realize how simple some of these lines are. So he writes, I've seen roses damasked red and white. Damasked means that pretty irregular pattern, so he's seen roses damasked red and white. So he's taking a time out from his girlfriend, and he has seen red and white roses. So, very simple. He has seen, he has seen red and white roses. Very simple. And the last line that we did together in all the classes today plays off line 5, where he says then, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. So, he goes back to that rose that he said that he saw that was red and white, and we know that roses and flowers are pretty. And then we have that he sees no such rose in her cheeks, meaning she has no blush. She has a very pale, icky looking complexion. So she has no blush color in her cheeks. And again, if I could spell today. No blush or color in her cheeks, very pale. And again, these sonnets are declaring your undying love for somebody, so he is off to a great start with his girl here. So this is as far as we got today. Tomorrow, hopefully we can pick up and finish the rest, and then Wednesday we can move on to slide 3. Other than that, make sure y'all start your MemBeam. We do every week. That 3 days a week, 60 minutes, every week MemBeam, our word work, our vocab, and then your online reading journal needs to be filled out to log your time. That's done on your own as well. So if y'all have any questions, please let me know. My help time is 1:30 to 2:30, and I will also post that link in Ms. Rosebrock's class as well to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions. I won't be able to look in your grades or do anything like that, but if you have questions over MemBeam, reading log, work, we've done the same work in both classes, please feel free to ask. And if not, then my guys, I see you tomorrow, and I hope Ms. Rosebrock is back for her crew tomorrow. So happy Marvelous Monday, and I'll see y'all on Tuesday.